Well, I'm not touching lost levels again. At least for now. So this time, let's review something that's a bit easier, while still having some decent challenge. This is... Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 2, the real one, is a direct sequel to the original Super Mario Bros. However, due to reasons, the game wasn't released worldwide until it appeared on Super Mario All-Stars, where the game was renamed to The Lost Levels. The Super Mario Bros. 2 we got is actually a localized version of the game Doki Doki Panic, just with Mario related things thrown in there. The story is now presented to us with text. Supposedly, Mario had a dream or something, and then he's out living that said dream. I don't know, it's just kinda stupid. It's basically Super Mario 3D World, except for made no sense at all. So you have this character select screen containing 4 characters. Mario, Luigi, it's about time he shows up, a blue toad, and the princess. Cool. Each character has different stats. Mario is the all-rounder, meaning he is good at everything but doesn't excel in anything. He also doesn't jump as high as he did in the first game. Who can jump high though is Luigi, who has a higher, more floatier jump. However, his controls are a bit slippery compared to Mario's. Then there's Toad, who can run fast but jump the worst. Not much can be said here. Finally, we have my favourite of the 4, Princess Toadstool. While slower than everyone else, she has the ability to hover in the air, making her the easiest option for platforming. You can play through a wide variety of characters, as they are all clearly balanced, and as you can see by the footage, I gave everyone a fair shot throughout my playthrough. The controls are more of the same from the original, one button to run as well as the other to jump. However, the button to run has a different mechanic, which allows you to grab things that are below you. These can be enemies, coins, or even plants, which give you items like vegetables to throw. While power-ups are pretty much absent in Super Mario Bros. 2, there are these potions you can find which take you to these rooms parallel to where you previously were. These have coins and mushrooms. Mushrooms essentially give you an extra hit point as you only have 2 hits to start out a level, otherwise you're... The star also makes a return. After collecting enough cherries, a star appears.
And it's basically the same thing as last time, so nothing special to say here, my friends.
The level design is a massive step forward from the original game, with having a variety of different settings and better platforming. While Super Mario Bros. Had some really good platforming, it kinda sucked that majority of the levels' platforms are essentially on one height, as well as the lost levels. Super Mario Bros. 2, however, actually has more diversity in the heights of the platforms, making for more challenging and interesting levels. Super Mario Bros. 2 has 20 levels, which is a step down from the 32 levels of the original game, but the levels are generally longer in length, which kinda make up for that. There are also more creative levels in the game, such as this one that requires you to dig the sand below you, or this one where you're riding a pterodactyl across the level. Brilliant. There are also completely new enemies in this game, with no returning ones from the previous. Some of the newer enemies, such as the Shy Guys, make their first appearance in this game, in which they would end up appearing in lots of Mario spin-offs, despite being ripped off straight out of Doki Doki Panic. And also Bob-ombs make their debut as well, and
boy, do they look weird in this game.
the soundtrack is still really good. I tend to favour the music a lot more than the last game, as there are plenty of memorable and fun tunes to listen to, and I find it much better than the Doki Doki Panic versions as well. At least there's a title theme this time around. Points for that, I suppose. The bosses are a big, colossal, considerable, enormous, fat, full, gigantic, hefty, huge, immense, massive, sizable improvement from the original game. Instead of one boss that you have to fight 8 times over and over again, there is a much larger variety of bosses this time, and as well as mini-bosses like Birdo, that reoccurs with different attack patterns as you progress. Oh yeah, this is the thing too. There's a mouse which throws bombs, a Hydra-like snake that shoots fireballs, a freaking reskin, a fireball which turns into smaller fireballs, a crab which throws rocks at you, and another freaking reskin. Whoa. Wow, that was such a sexy sound. I'm gonna do that one more time. All the bosses share the same weakness, which is throwing stuff at them until they die, but it is made up by putting the player into different situations. Some bosses require you to give them a taste of their own medicine, while others require you to use whatever item is in the room. My favourite was definitely the final boss, Ward, who apart from having some dope music, it has you throwing vegetables in his mouth, which requires precision when throwing them, otherwise he's gonna spit out
balls. Why?
And also, this indicates that vegetables are bad for him. Of course! Look at this lard from Link's Awakening. Does it look like he ever ate a single radish in his life? Shove it in there! So you defeat him and save these fairy things which were never mentioned in the story whatsoever. The game ends on a basic NES congratulations, and then... I've got nothing to say here. This is one of the worst endings in video game history. Keep in mind, that is the reward you're willing to beat the game in one sitting because Nintendo... I didn't mention this before or in the Super Mario Bros. Review, but there is a life system in this game in which losing all lives equals game over. You can gain extra lives via 1-ups which can be found randomly, or, in this game, you can gain more lives via the slot machine at the end of the level, which requires the coins you pick up in the parallel rooms. Let's just call them that, I don't know the actual name. This game also has continues, which is something the first game didn't have. Using one takes you back to whatever world you were on, and running out of continues mean you have to restart the game all over again. Turning the game off does the same thing, so save states on emulation or virtual console might be necessary in order to get through the game easier. And also, there's no warp zones, meaning you have to enter the game, you have to play through the earlier levels, making it such a chore to get through. And some of these levels can take up to 4 minutes to finish, making levels more of an endurance test. And some are pretty tricky too, because it's not as linear as last time, and there are lots of challenging parts of levels, like taking keys to doors while avoiding these masks that attack you. If there was one thing I wanted this game to fix, it would be the ability to save the game. Seriously, is a password too difficult to code in this game? I don't think it was, and Nintendo didn't add it in just so they can laugh at your face as you play through the first level for the 28th time. Stupid Nintendo. Don't let that last issue deceive you. This is still an excellent game which improves over the original, and that's a good sign. I do think the story kinda sucks, even for its time, and I do feel that not saving the game is annoying. But I really do like the positives this game has over the original. The platforming is better, the new mechanics are interesting and fun to use, the bosses are way better than how they were before, and the music is better, even though some of it was ripped out of another game. Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario Bros. 2 gets my approval, my success approval.
We have one more Super Mario Bros. Game to get through, but until then, play Super Mario Bros. 2 while you wait. And the original game as well. For the time being, I'm gonna set up something special. Be right back.
I'll be the roundabout.